Did reach out to UNC's media relations to try to get some sort of information. They say they cannot give that right now. So again, we're waiting for that press conference. But we also have teams that are right there on scene trying to get a picture of what unfolded today. Dan Haggerty. Dan was on the air right as this unfolded. Now is on the ground for us there on Carolina's campus. Dan, certainly, again, tragic knowing how this has ended, learning that there is a faculty member who has died. Tell us, what's the mood like on campus?
Well, I'll be honest with you, most of the students we walked past seemed to be in a state of shock. It was interesting. It was right after the lockdown was over. So as we were moving from our vehicle down to where we are currently, we passed thousands of students in these pods of friends seeing each other for the first time, all of them stating their personal story. That somebody said to them, oh, it's okay to leave now, or let's get you going this way. But everyone seemed to be on the phone with loved ones or talking to friends who they were encountering on campus, telling their own personal story. It's where we then bumped into a police officer outside of the Caudill Laboratories and pointed out this to us, which is a bullet hole in the first floor glass that we're zooming into now. We were actually, as we moved across campus, we had a big cart with our equipment in it, and we were running into stairs on the other side of this building, so we took a right hoping to find a pathway down that we could bring our cart, when we bumped into kind of an odd area to be cordoned off with police tape and a lot of officers here. We started asking them, is this just something you want to keep people from walking through, or is this significant in some way? And they pointed to the window and said, well, this is a big part of the crime scene. So I also asked, did the shots, were they fired out here in this thoroughfare, this walk-through area, or were they fired inside the classroom? And the officer told me they were not fired outside. So again, we're having to do a lot of kind of piecing things together. Hopefully we learn a lot more when it comes to direct answers to our questions at the news conference. But as you can see here, we know the tragic events unfolded with a staff member being killed in this horrible crime, and we're getting more of a look of how that all may have taken place, again, as the bullet hole in the glass behind us does tell a bit of this story, guys.
Dan, you may have said it, apologies. What building is that?
This is the Caudill Laboratories, and it's connected to Venable Hall. I talked to a couple students walking by trying to get an idea of what it is like on the other side of that glass, and I'm told just essentially big, large rooms for group study, and you know, they're doing lab projects inside. Oftentimes that requires equipment and collaboration, so they're kind of big open rooms where these projects take place.
Got it. Yeah, you were talking about just hearing the students' stories, everybody having a different vantage point, certainly all connected through the fear that they felt. I was talking to some students who said that they were just sitting in silence for hours, waiting for news, checking WRAL's news feed, certainly just trying to find out where the threat was and if they were indeed safe. Did the students maybe tell you maybe where they're going now? I talked to one who said she just needs to take a nap.
I think a lot of people are trying to get back to their home base where they feel secure, where they can sit down, call family, really decompress. The students that we talked to were also trying to do a little bit of investigating. You know, there are still a lot of questions that they want to have answered, and when something happens this personally to you in your safe space at your university, I think, you know, people want to know as much as they can in order to feel that this is resolved and that they can move on with their day safely and that police have it under control. Of course, we know a person in custody at this point, but you get a sense, and this probably is just, I don't think it's universal, but you get a sense of the people who were closest to it as you see the reactions on people's faces, even as they walk by and check out this scene that we're live in front of now, and their willingness to discuss it or open up about what they were feeling or dealing with sometimes can be an indication just as to how close they were to it. Again, one thing that you might not be able to, you can with some of the footage of people leaving the classrooms, you see just how many students we're dealing with, but after the lockdown had been, after it went away and all of the students were coming out, we were crossing campus. We're talking about thousands and thousands of young people who are all now grasping the reality of today and how tragic it was and how frightening something like this is when it hits close to home.
Absolutely. All right, Dan Haggerty reporting live for us outside of Caudill Hall, where there is a bullet hole currently in a window there at that building behind him. Just a stunning sight. We should mention again at the top of the hour, so at 5 o'clock, we're going to be getting that hopefully right at the top, the news conference from officials there at UNC-Chapel Hill, as well as law enforcement officials, to get confirmation, more information about what unfolded here on campus.
And until then, about 20 minutes ago, I kind of gave us a lay of the land in terms of who is Tylee Chi in terms of what is on the Applied Physical Sciences webpage. But as I mentioned, WRAL's Sarah Kruger has been digging into